I've nearly finished my first playthrough of the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, with only a couple of missions left before I start a second playthrough of the game. Yeah, I know, it's called an addiction. With the final battle to retake Earth nearing, it has me thinking a lot about the future of Mass Effect. We've seen the new trailer, and so many of us have dissected it as much as possible. We have some details on what the future may entail, with the biggest piece of information being that this is a type of sequel for both the Mass Effect trilogy and Mass Effect Andromeda. And yes, I understand the somewhat harsh feelings people may have for Andromeda. I don't think the game is perfect by any means, and it truly is not as captivating as Mass Effects 1 through 3. Although with the right storytelling and some touch-ups, I do believe there are some exciting and fascinating stories that could be told with the world built around Andromeda. And no matter what, Andromeda does seem like it will be playing an important role in the future of Mass Effect, as the game's director Mike Gamble hinted to through tweets after the brand new trailer dropped. Now, with so many questions and possible ideas of what the future of Mass Effect will look like, I can't help but make myself excited for a game that I honestly don't know will ever happen, even if I really wanted to. And no, I'm not saying we're not getting another game, because we absolutely are. What I'm saying is my idea and theory of what I would want the next game to be about is very unlikely. So keep in mind, when I get into this theory, I do realize how much fan service this story would offer us as gamers and diehard fans of the original trilogy. I also realize that Liara may look older in the trailer than when my fan theory may take place. I simply came up with a story I thought would be really fun and really cool. This also is a theory of what Mass Effect 4 and what the future of Mass Effect in general could be about. So for the record, I will repeat that as much as I would love for this to happen, I don't think it will go down the way I imagine it, but thinking of this story I have created makes me very excited. Now, I will ask for one thing, that throughout the course of this video, or if you happen to finish the video and you did end up liking it, please give it a like and leave me a subscribe. And hey, if you didn't like the video, give it a dislike. Do what you gotta do. So without further delay, let's get into the theory. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition didn't release just because of how much we loved it. It didn't only release to get fans old and new alike to relive great moments and rejuvenate the excitement for the series, even though that is a big reason. But the biggest reason of it all is because save data will absolutely be transferable from Game 3 to Game 4. I also believe they will find a way to incorporate your save information from Andromeda to Mass Effect 4 as well. So how exactly will your save data from Mass Effect 3 affect Mass Effect 4? And how could it even be transferred when so many of Mass Effect 3's endings seem to send Commander Shepard and the story of the Milky Way to a close? Well, the easiest way around this, and you have probably heard this everywhere, is the Destroy ending. Take the time to analyze each ending, and between the four major endings, Destroy, Synthesis, Control, and Refusal, you'll see that Destroy is the most plausible and honestly should be, if not is, the canon ending. Not only are the Reapers completely destroyed in the Milky Way, but with enough war assets, Shepard survives in a mid-credit cutscene, where you see his chest plate move as he begins to breathe, in what I would assume to be the rubble of the Crucible. If the Collector attack at the beginning of Mass Effect 2 isn't going to keep him down, nothing will. There's even a secondary cutscene involving a grandfather and a grandson, overlooking multiple moons in the night sky, talking about the legend of Shepard. The child proceeds to ask the grandfather to tell him another story about the Shepard, when the grandfather responds with, "It's getting late, but okay, one more story." That is not a throwaway line. That means something, and that means a story is waiting to be told. So if Shepard is already considered a legend after the destruction of the Reapers, what could advance his legendary reputation even more, and what could this epic one more story be about?
Rudimentary creatures of blood and flesh, you touch my mind, fumbling in ignorance, incapable of understanding.
I don't think this is a VI.
There is a realm of existence
Over the span of the 3 games, the Reapers such as Sovereign and Harbinger have constantly insulted Shepard and the Milky Way civilizations for not mentally being able to comprehend the existence of the Reapers. According to the Reapers, any and all organic life have not been able to figure out why they do what they do, harvesting and destroying civilizations over and over again every 50,000 years. And how many times have they repeated this cycle? Millions and maybe even billions of times. Millions and billions of civilizations harvested and melted down to become a brand new Reaper. Constructs beyond our magnitude and comprehension. There are small details we learn about the Reapers over the course of the games, but nothing substantial. Nothing that would interfere with making a Reaper feel more relatable. Oddly enough, the intrigue and suspense of the Reapers is the fact that we don't understand them, but also coming up with our own theories to try and make sense of why they do what they do is exciting. There's this idea that the harvest would stop if Reapers saw that organic life finally reached a pinnacle in evolution, which obviously has never happened in the cycles of the Milky Way. Now, what if the Reapers decided to branch out? What if their numbers grew so wide that they decided to venture off to other galaxies, to inflict the same horrors that they have to the Milky Way? The Crucible only targeted the Reapers inside of the Milky Way galaxy. The powerful beam only stretched through the mass relays, which then expanded into a massive explosion, which then covered the star systems around it. There's no way the Crucible and the Catalyst together could accommodate for the other galaxies. With how powerful and intelligent the Reapers are, is it so crazy to believe that there are thousands or even millions of other Reapers scouring and destroying other galaxies?
It is inevitable. Without our intervention, organics are doomed. We are your salvation.
I have a better idea. We destroy you and live our lives in peace.
So let's say 10 to 15 years after the events of Mass Effect 3, Shepard returns. Depending on who your romance was or who your best friend was in Mass Effect 3, at the end of the game, they refrain from placing Shepard's nameplate on the memorial wall on the Normandy, in turn signifying that Shepard is indeed not dead and that the crew believe he's out there somewhere. So years of scouring the galaxy to find clues of Shepard's survival, Liara, Joker, possibly Edie, new crew members, and old crew members of the Normandy who had close relationships to Shepard in your personal playthroughs go out to seek out Shepard. Now, why Shepard was not recovered from the Citadel that was orbiting just above Earth, I don't exactly know. Maybe the explosion and the nature of the blast created some sort of portal that transported him to another area of the galaxy. At this point, anything could be possible, considering you're dealing with Reaper technology. In general, there could be many different reasons why Shepard was not found on the Citadel and why it took so long to find him. The galaxy has felt the effects of the Reaper War, and they will for thousands of years to come. A time that their galaxy and future civilizations will never forget and will always memorialize. But now is the time to rebuild, and rebuild they have. The slideshow at the end of Mass Effect 3 even shows homeworlds being rebuilt, and the repairment and reconstruction of the Citadel and the mass relays. Shepard didn't just band together the races of the Milky Way to combat the Reapers, but he also set in motion the fact that they could rebuild together and start a new and brighter future together. For the first time ever, Mass Effect returns as a personal journey rather than a fate of existence type of adventure. Shepard returns to a galaxy that is rebuilding and looking better than ever, capable of visiting alien homeworlds we've never seen before like the Turians or the Drell and the Hanars, learning about new Citadel leadership, finding out that even after the Great War, conflict still breeds, one thing that the Reapers may have actually been right about. But most importantly, the squad and friends you've met on the way. People like Garrus, Tali, Miranda, Rex, and so many others, seeking them out to see how life has changed for them. Either venturing off to do missions with them one last time to say goodbye, or inviting others back to the squad for another grand adventure. Liara would still be the Shadow Broker. Having the broker's power and resources would still come in handy in a time like this, considering lots of Reaper tech and other classified information would be governmental property. Some things still stay the same. And with the curious nature of Liara, she would obviously want to research more about the Reapers to find out everything she possibly could about them. So what if Liara found something? What if somehow she found a way to get a hold of Harbinger's remains and she found an outgoing message? A message Harbinger sent out into the universe just before Shepard and the Crucible decided the Reaper's fate. A message that warned all other Reapers who harvest civilizations in other galaxies to stay away from the Milky Way, to possibly only return to the Milky Way with an unconceivable amount of Reaper forces that even if the Milky Way species could defeat the Reapers before, the Reapers' numbers now would drown the Milky Way with no way of success. Finding out something so monumental like that would surely send Liara into a pale blue shock. Pun intended. There were theories and ideas that maybe the Reapers didn't just seclude themselves to the Milky Way, and they did indeed harvest other species in other galaxies. The Reapers are old enough, smart enough, and strong enough to have gotten to that point of superiority. Now that it's not a theory and it is indeed a fact, Shepard, Liara, old faces and new faces must come together once again to find a way to venture beyond Milky Way space and into new territory to stop pockets of the Reapers around the universe. That is essentially how Mass Effect 4 would end. Far-fetched theory so far? Yeah, I know, but I love it. So how does Andromeda fit into this story? Well, before the Andromeda Initiative went on their 634-year journey from the Milky Way to Andromeda, they spotted multiple planets that would possibly be viable candidates for continued life of their species, places they hoped they could call home. Now, with the entire Andromeda Initiative not knowing the real reason why they are taking a one-way galaxy trip, only the people who created this initiative know the true reason. People like Ryder's father, or the mysterious benefactor that we never meet or learn more of. Only they knew and believed the inevitable threat of the Reapers that Shepard warned the galaxy about. So instead of risking complete annihilation, why not take some of our species to another galaxy to start fresh and away from harm? Which they did, but not without finding new dangers and major hiccups during their time there. Now, the biggest part when arriving to these planets was they were not as habitable as they thought they were when they first analyzed them from the Milky Way. A 600-year space travel is a long time to change things. Also, take in the time the light takes to travel from Andromeda to the Milky Way is potentially thousands of years, and the worlds were bound to be different. Now, we all know the story of Andromeda. The unexpected Milky Way species coming to Andromeda and finding out about this ancient yet vastly superior technology once owned and controlled by the Remnant. Discovering a native alien race to Andromeda called the Angara, and joining their resistance to defeat a galaxy-conquering race called the Ket, who they themselves come from a completely different galaxy. In this game, we can only travel 1/3 of the Andromeda galaxy. The other half of the galaxy is blocked off by the odd dark matter type energy they call the Scourge. This strange technological vine-stretching material that completely carves through ships or anything that may interfere with it. This was not there when they analyzed this galaxy hundreds of years ago, just as many other things have drastically changed. Since Andromeda is the closest galaxy to the Milky Way, why wouldn't the Reapers decide to harvest their civilization as well, especially if they found a race like the Remnant utilizing technology that the Reapers would undoubtedly view as primitives playing with power they can't understand? What if a Reaper war in Andromeda is what drastically changed their galaxy? So as you have been for this entire theory, imagine the Reapers entered the galaxy from dark space and came through the other 2/3 of the galaxy that you cannot travel to. As the Reapers' numbers and strength grow, they stretch through star systems, taking over planets and harvesting civilizations that we never got to meet in Andromeda. The Remnant, being almost like the Protheans of the Andromeda galaxy, are taking the blunt of the assault, quickly losing homeworlds and their amazing technology to suit the Reaper's needs. A group of Remnant flee to the edge of the Andromeda galaxy and prepare for Plan B, the way the Protheans did. With their self-constructing and self-rebuilding technology, the Remnant create these massive world engines beneath the surface of planets scattered around the corner of the Andromeda galaxy that you can travel in the actual game. So the specific planets like Eos and Vold and Havarl. Creating these world engines allows planets to be terraformed to a specific species liking. With the creation of Meridian, which was hidden away and Ryder and the crew had to spend an entire game finding, Meridian was the powerhouse for all world engines. Everything could be controlled and directed from the command of Meridian, in hope that one day a species outside of the Reapers could restart the Andromeda galaxy again. Jaal, one of the Angara who join Ryder and the Tempest crew. When he finds out that the Remnant were cloning Angara and that their species may have been created DNA from tubes and technology, maybe that was the Remnant trying to continue a race of higher intellect or higher purpose. What the Reapers saw as another civilization to harvest, the Remnant saw a higher potential from a younger race in the Angara. To preserve their race and their culture, the Remnant hid cloning facilities of the Angara in this corner of the galaxy and planted them on a new habitable planet to ensure the Andromeda races don't go completely extinct. And with other planets fitted with world engines and Meridian hiding somewhere in the depths, they created a hope of the Angara restarting Andromeda with sacred Remnant technology. Now, with Plan B set in motion, the group of Remnant are called back to the greater part of Andromeda. The Reaper's forces are advancing, and the Remnant can't stop them for much longer. So in one last dire effort to keep the preservation of the Angara, the Remnant dispel the unexplained power of the Scourge to create a border, separating the piece of Andromeda you travel in the game to the rest of Andromeda that was possibly destroyed by the Reapers. The Scourge travels from star system to star system, covering some planets, stars, and open space, carving up and destroying Reapers in its path. Now, any Reaper that may have survived or found a way to retreat back into dark space still has the direct mission to eradicate the Andromeda galaxy. With the Milky Way species entering Andromeda and effectively activating Meridian, those surviving Reapers who would have implemented Remnant technology now receive a ping of sorts that notifies them something in Andromeda lives. In an all-out effort to stop another galaxy from suffering the same fate that so many other species suffered in the Milky Way, Mass Effect 4 would end by seeing Shepard and crew race off to Andromeda, the same way the Andromeda Initiative did, through cryostasis. Shepard and the Normandy crew would meet Ryder and the Tempest crew to fend off another Reaper invasion, but this time in Andromeda. Whether it be big or small, it does not matter. Shepard is bred to stop Reapers at all costs. Well, that is my heavily fan-serviced theory, and I hope you found enjoyment out of it. You know, maybe it is time to let Shepard, the original crew, and the Reapers rest and move on. But I say no. I'm greedy, and I want more Shepard. So BioWare, you know what to do. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see other content I have for Mass Effect, I will put the playlist in the description below and up on the screen here as well. If you have any comments or opinions on my ideas I presented, or have anything to say about your own theories, shoot them off in the comments below. And until next time, I will talk to you all very soon.
Tell me another story about the Shepard.
It's getting late, but okay. One more story.